So my family and I are going to Japan. I wanted to do something unique to try to express how special this trip is to my family and I, so I'm making this video. I'm going to assume that people who might not know me will probably think this video is like weird and probably a little dramatic. But I've been thinking a lot about the people who have come to me with such joy and empathy about this trip. And I wanted to share this video with those who have loved us so kindly. If you had put a quiz in front of us and asked us where would be the place that you would want to visit most, all of us would have written and have written Japan. I've given that answer my whole life. I am half Japanese. My father is Asian and my mother is Caucasian. Though my father grew up in Hawaii, so lots of people mistake him for Hawaiian. We weren't familiar with my father's culture very much when we were babies, but that changed in 1999. My dad's younger sister brought us a VHS tape of a New Year's program that was recorded in Japan. The program was Kohaku, and anyone who is familiar with the Japanese culture very well will know this show. Filled with one musical artist after the next, we were introduced to J-pop. And I mean early J-pop. I was 8 years old at the time. This particular exposure changed our lives in way more ways than I could ever explain. In the early days of the internet, my parents were savvy enough to find forums and make friends with people online. They would record subtitled Japanese programs that were airing out here in the US and trade them with people online. My dad even found Japanese VHS rental stores locally. We grew familiar with the language just by listening to it regularly. Catching on to words in songs or on talk shows, thinking back on watching Countdown TV and Music Station feels like a lifetime ago. Being able to rent VHS tapes opened the door to us finding anime, and we would watch Pokemon an entire season in advance before it would air in America. In the summer of 2001, we went through some friends and went through a program where we got to host a Japanese high school student. It was for a whole month. And then we got the opportunity to do it again the next year with another woman who was a little bit older than high school age. These were very special and unique experiences for us growing up. It's amazing how you can learn to love someone so dearly in just a month's time. I still remember very vividly trying to hold back my tears in vain driving away from one of the young ladies when her stay was finished. I was only 11 years old. When both my sisters and I have been asked in one form or another what our most cherished memories are, we have always mentioned these particular years of life. And that's saying a lot for my sister Sammy because she really doesn't remember a lot. Our mom homeschooled us and our dad worked rotating shifts, so we would oftentimes just take trips to the Japanese markets. Sometimes we would go to get snacks, but we were really going for the toys. The Pokemon or Digimon toys that they would have in this section of adorably packaged things for kids. I've been opening blind boxes for a long time now. Our love for the culture, especially the music and entertainment, has never left us since. Even in mine and AJ's wedding, we had our rings on pillows but tied with a red string. In Japanese and often Asian cultures, there's a story about akaito, in Japanese is what it is. And the story is, since you've been born, there's an invisible red string tied to your finger and to the finger of the person that you're destined to be with. For not having been to Japan, we actually know a lot about it. how the culture works, musical artists, etiquette. We've run into many people from Japan who have told us that we knew more about J-pop or J-dramas than they did. One of the things growing up that stood out the most to me was how every single person that we would talk to was shocked or surprised when they found out that we had never been to Japan. Taking a family of 5 to Japan is very expensive. I mean, if we ever talked about it, it was always in terms of maybe someday. We never made plans, or at least any plans that I was aware of, or even had some foreseeable time in the future that we wanted to go. It has always been one day we'll get there. I don't think I can ever explain how immersive we have placed ourselves into this beautiful and unique culture without actually being there. The very idea of going is like thinking about going into some magical make-believe place that we have thought about and learned about for so many years. Almost 20. 嬉しい。私。私たちは長い間この機会を待っています。ごめん。Although we are excited for this opportunity, 2 major disappointing things have come up due to different circumstances. I am the oldest of 3. Not long after me came my sister Heather, and then a few years later my sister Sammy. By God's grace, I believe through the diligence of my mother, we are actually a very tight family. My 2 sisters and I are very different in a lot of ways, and yet we are constantly surprised at how truly close we are. Originally, the plan for this trip was just to be me, AJ, and Sammy, but due to some things that we worked out, my parents were actually able to join us on this trip as well. Heather, however, is not. It'll probably be one of the hardest things, not having her there with us on this trip. But this trip wasn't so much on a whim that we didn't have time to talk and think about it, and her current life circumstances just won't allow it. She thinks we won't go again, but I really think that we'll go back. The second disappointing thing, I'm pretty sure won't have a second chance though. My father was actually born in Hawaii. I'll have to save all of his fun stories living on the island for another time, because he definitely has some fun ones. Sadly, when he was 7 years old, his father told him to take care of the family and left. Just took off. My father wouldn't hear from his father again until he was in his 30s, and it was briefly over the phone. My grandfather had wanted to check up on him at the time, I suppose. Unfortunately, the charismatic businessman didn't want much more of a relationship than that, and the only time we would learn things about him was briefly through his secretary and then through my father's aunt. Well, my grandfather is older now and very ill, pretty much bedridden. but he's in Tokyo right now. Through one of our family members, we asked her to ask him if he wanted to meet us. Without going into details, because of his current family situation, he's chosen not to. So we'll be there in Tokyo, probably the closest we could get to him. And my dad won't be able to see his father again, and I won't be able to meet my grandfather. We'll just get to pray for him. The exciting things and the disappointing things all involved in this trip are on my heart. And it's an emotional roller coaster ride that I am just generally thankful for that the Lord has made come about. Through just incredible timing, flights, a place to stay, to coming in contact with and making plans to meet the young woman that stayed with us so many years ago. I don't know what my future videos are gonna look like while we're out in Japan. Possibly bad internet, us just taking in too many sites, and any other crazy thing that can happen. But the one thing that everybody has said the most about this trip is take lots of pictures. We'll be taking lots of pictures and I will be taking lots of video. So I'm sure I will share with you very soon. Thank you so much for watching and thanks for being excited with us. We're going to Japan. Made it! We're here! I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. My family and I, like I said, we made it to Japan, so we are staying in our place right now, and it's our first major day. I wanted to share with you guys real quick that the shot that I took of the video, the first video that we watched that my aunt brought, was the actual VHS tape. Like, when I was filming this, I asked my dad to give me VHS tapes to film, and he brought me that tape, and that shot that I have of that tape is actually the tape that she brought. So it's really cool because he kept it for all these years, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you're watching this when I'm just posting it, and you're interested in watching our trip, we will be posting pictures and whatever we can, whenever we can. So if you want to, you can follow me on all my social media, which is like my Instagram. My Facebook page is where if I post videos, I'll be posting videos, and I also have a Twitter account. So I know this was a very different style video for me, very like not vlog style that I usually do, like where I'm just talking to camera like this. More casually is definitely more formal, but I hope that you guys liked it. It was a little different and I really enjoyed editing it and making it, and it's like really close to my heart. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and thanks for spending time with me. Bye!
Bye!